Mars has always been a planet that people have been fascinated with. From the ancient Greeks, thousands of years ago, to the modern scientific research and colonization plans, humans have long been interested in the red planet. And in the last few decades, this fascination has reached a new peak because our technology has now developed to the point where actually visiting it has started to become a possibility. This high interest has resulted in a massive amount of research being done on our neighboring planet, leading to big discoveries. But what was announced yesterday might have been the biggest discovery about Mars ever made. Using data that came from the InSight lander, it was discovered that Mars has an enormous underground water reservoir so big that it could create a Martian global ocean. In this video, I will be explaining this massive discovery and what it implies about Mars, and answer the question a lot of people might be wondering about. Could it be used for colonization, or even to give Mars its oceans back? So, how was this discovery made? Obviously, the Mars rovers can't dig deep into the ground. Luckily, you don't need to dig deep into the ground to know what it is made of. You can use seismic activity. The composition of the ground below you has effect on seismic quakes. So, different ground compositions will cause different types of seismic quake readings on our seismic measuring equipment. So, all you need to identify the composition of the ground below you is seismic activity and measuring equipment. Although less severely than on Earth, Mars is known to have seismic activity. This is why in 2018, NASA launched the InSight lander, a probe specifically made to measure the seismic activity. It landed in November of 2018 and spent the next 4 years sending information about Mars's seismic activity until it unfortunately stopped working in 2022. With 4 years worth of information, scientists could finally start analyzing the composition of Mars. This is how the massive underground water reservoir was found, and its discovery published just yesterday at the time of this video's release. What does this massive discovery tell us about Mars? Well, first of all, it proves beyond any reasonable doubt that Mars had oceans. Assuming that the reservoir spans around the entire planet, there would be enough water to cover the entire planet in an ocean of water over a kilometer deep, possibly even more. That is an amount of water that could only be present on a planet with oceans. It has also changed our ideas of what happened to the Martian water. Previously, it was assumed that the water slowly vaporized and was blasted into space when the atmosphere of Mars started to thin out. But now it seems like that the majority of the water never actually escaped Mars. Instead, it was absorbed into the ground, where it got stuck 10 to 20 kilometers below the surface, and has been there for over 3 billion years now. So, in an unexpected twist, we've got an enormous amount of water on Mars. The obvious question is, could we use it? Unfortunately, it seems unlikely that it could be a useful source of water for future colonizers anytime soon. The problem with this reservoir is how insanely deep it is. On Earth, even the deepest oil reservoir that has ever been drilled in is sitting at 12 kilometers below the surface. Drilling down to that depth on Mars would allow you to barely reach the top of the Martian water reservoir. A small Martian colony will obviously not have the equipment, energy, and manpower to even think about drilling so deep into the surface. Don't get me wrong, the reservoir can definitely be used by human colonizers. It is not inaccessible, but it is inaccessible enough that we won't be able to reach it anytime soon. Until we can produce what would be equivalent to an oil platform on the red planet, we sadly won't be able to make much use of it. And that wraps up the video. My intention was to finish my current ongoing space series, The Universe in Magnitudes, before producing any other content. But this discovery was so major that I just had to make a video, especially now that people are still looking for information about it. If you enjoyed this video and like my style of content, please consider subscribing and checking out The Universe in Magnitudes, a series that is still ongoing on my channel. Thank you for watching until the end, and I hope to see you in the next one.